Hello. Yeah. Hey everyone. So very excited to be in Italy and especially with NGRome. And my talk is actually it's not a talk. It's a masterclass. So I'm going to do live coding for next 2.5 hours. Oh no, it's 25 minutes. Okay. Cool. So when I was preparing for this conference, I was like, Leonardo mentioned, okay, there is a CFP, and I was thinking about what topic should I choose because I really wanted to be here with the entire community. And most of the talks which I gave this year was NX. I'm a huge monorepo fan. I keep talking about NX, and I thought of doing an Angular talk. And then I was wondering what topic should I choose because I don't want it to mix so many things in 25 minutes. So I decided to do a masterclass. But this masterclass is also my route to Rome. So I was like, okay, this is how I reach Rome. So that's why it's Angular Router Masterclass. Cool. Let's little bit about myself. My name is Santosh. I am from India, moved to Germany a year ago, almost a year ago. And I work as a senior software engineer at Celonis. So there are a few my coworkers here, yeah. And I'm a GD for Angular, so Google Developer Expert. We are all family here, a lot of GDs, the Angular team. I'm also a GitHub star, so I was the first Indian to become a GitHub star, and I'm an Auth0 ambassador. Thank you. And thank you. I also run a community called This is Learning and This is Angular. I know a few of you who are part of the This is Angular and This is Learning community, so thank you so much for your contributions. I run this community with my co-founder, Lars, who is also a very active contributor for the Angular community, and he keeps doing amazing stuff, which I don't know how he does that. So, and then I run a podcast called This is Tech Talks, which I co-host with my co-founder, Lars, and most of this year, most of the podcast was run by Jay Cooper Bell, who is, again, a Google Developer Expert for Angular. So, yep, thanks to him. And you can reach out to me on Twitter, LinkedIn, and you can see some boring stuff which I do at GitHub. So, this is my Twitter handle, SANTOSH YADAV Dev. I'm not active on Twitter right now, so probably in case you want to talk about GD program or you want to talk about GitHub Star program or Auth0 Ambassador program, just feel free to reach out, or you want to become a part of the community, which is This is Learning, or want to join our podcast as a host, co-host, or probably a guest. You have something you want to share, just DM me, probably LinkedIn for a month now, and then I'll be active again on Twitter. So brace yourself. Okay, it's happening. Okay. Let's do it. So what I've done is I have created a small app. I know everyone knows Angular CLI, so I don't have to explain much, but I already have an app created. So I'm going to show you two demos. One with a mix of what Angular was, or Angular Router was, and what are the new things which we have in Angular Router, including standalone. And then another app, only standalone app. Yep, so that's coming. So let's see. Let's start. So whenever you create a new app, you get an option, do you want to create or do you want to have an Angular router? And you say yes. That's what I have done. I said yes. And I have this file, app.routingmodule.ts. So let's go ahead and add some routes. Let's do that. So to define routes, what you do? So we have two parameters. Minimum parameters is path. You have to say, okay, this is the path, this is the URL, and which component should be loaded in case I click on home. So right now I don't have any component. Let's go ahead and create a component, right? So I'm using GitHub code spaces. So as soon as I finish my live code, I can share this with you, right? So it saves time. So, and GitHub code spaces is for free for everyone. You can go ahead and try this today on your own GitHub account. So it's free for everyone. Okay, let's do that. NGRome router. Okay, so this is my folder. Now I'll create a component. So I want to create a home component. When I click on home, I want to redirect to home. So npx ng gc, and I'll say this is home component. Hope this works. And meanwhile, I'll copy another component which I want to, because I want to show some data. So let's do that. Yeah, so I have home component now. And what we can do to render a URL, what you do is, of course, you put a router outlet. And you put an anchor tag, right? So anchor tag, and then you can add router link, which says home. I mean, you can put wherever you want to. And let's say, okay, this is home. And did we add it here, router outlet? And let's complete our configuration. So we have our first component, which will be loaded via route. And let's run the application. So here I can say npx, nx, not nx, ng serve, and I'll pass a parameter because disable host check, because I'm using a virtual environment, GitHub code space, so I have to disable this, otherwise I'll keep getting a lot of console errors. Just in case you are using code spaces and you see a lot of console errors in the browser, just disable this, which you should not, but yeah, that's. And fuck. Oops. 502 bad gateway. Okay, let's do ng serve. Somehow application got killed. Not sure why, but okay, I know why. So I think this login component has some error which I have to fix. I added this component and I forgot to remove it. So our basic application with a single route should work now. Yeah. And what else we have? Okay, so really sorry for this because I wanted to add this code later, but I think I have to remove this for time being. So I'll just comment this out, comment this out. Comment this out. Oh, that's so bad. Just a second. Yep, we are okay now. So why is this an error? Okay, what's happening here? Dun, dun. Great, finally. Hey! Thank you. Okay, so we have our first routing, which is home. And I click on home and we see homeworks, right? So not the homework, just homeworks, yeah. Okay, cool. So what we did is we just rendered our first component using the Angular router. Let's add a few more functionalities, right? What else we have in the router? Let's go ahead and keep add. So a few versions ago, I think Angular 14 or Angular 13, we came across a property called title. So I can also pass the title property for each route in my routing configuration, which we used to do earlier, either using SSR or using the title class, which was available. So now you don't have to do that. So let's go ahead and refresh the page. And you can see the title is actually on the top where my cursor is. It's home. So we have title for each and every route without doing any coding. But what in case, you must be wondering, right, oh, is this a joke because I said Masterclass and I'm showing these basic things? So no. Okay, let me show you one more thing. What in case I want to override this? I don't want to have my routing configuration here, but I want to generate it dynamically. What we can do is you can create a class, okay? So let's create a service, and let's do that. And let's run MX generate service, and I'll call this as a title service. So new service, which is title, and what I can do is I can extend the class called title strategy. So let's do that, and so I mean, you can see I use NX a lot, so that's why I keep typing NX, NX, NX. So kind of obsession I have. Oh, okay, let's do. So extends, and I can do title strategy. And here, you can inject private title, and you can say, okay, this is the title service which I want access to. And as this is a function which I have to implement some classes, so I have to say this update title. So this is something which I have to pass, and then I can see, okay, if, or let's try to do one thing, right? So let's go back. Yeah. So just to save some time, I already have the code, right? So smart thing. Okay, so here what we are doing is we are setting the site title, but by using a service. So let's see if I have this right. Yep. And this derived classes must contain a super call. So let's do a super call, and we are set. So now, rather than actually passing title as a text field, you can actually say, okay, I want to use this service, and I want this title to be calculated here. So I can say, okay, this is my application, and my router app, and then I can say, okay, pipe, and then my title. Okay, let's see. Let's go ahead and use this. So what I can do is right now, I can just comment, or I can keep this one, or let's do this, comment, right? And here, with app module, or I can do it here, that's fine. I can say providers. I can say provide title strategy, and I will say, okay, just go ahead and use this class, the class which we have created, so which is title service. And yes, we have overridden the default strategy. Let's see. Let's see if it is compiled. Yes, it is compiled. And let's go ahead and refresh this page. And again, 402. Okay, something broke. Let's see, what is this? Provide, what I'm doing here is provide title strategy, cannot find title service. Okay. Is which one? this is, okay, let's see. I mean, this is something which is fine. Title strategy, okay, let's see what I have done wrong. And provide title service, okay. This is right, but I'm not sure what is title service, use class. Okay, let's run it again. Probably it will be compiled. Okay. From where this is coming? Title service dot slash provided in constructor. Cannot find name title service. I made a mistake or something. No. Okay, let's see. Provider. This is strange. Okay, let's move to this code space and cd route. Okay, so I'm not sure what's wrong there because I have added this new file and it is not able to find this file. Use class, title service. Okay, let's see. Yeah, let's see. It will work here. So let me just do this. And so you can see custom title, and now my path is, my actually title is changed, and it is taking it from my service. So custom title strategy, which we have defined. What you can do is, I mean, of course, you don't have to rely on a static value. You can actually override the default title strategy. You can make an API call, bring your title from the backend. For example, if you have some JSON configuration, you can bring that JSON configuration and calculate your what will be the title of your route. So you can do that here by using the custom title strategy. Now let's move and see some configuration option as well. So there is something called enable tracing. I'm not sure how many of you used enable tracing in past. Okay, I can see few hands. Okay, this is really good or great way to figure out what is the issue with your routing. For example, this option will render. Let me show you what. So once you refresh, let's see. And console. Yeah. So you can see all these options coming here. This is actually something which gets enabled once you do enable tracing true. So let's say in case you are trying to redirect from one URL to another URL, and you got into some issues, like your URL is not working, your redirect is not working. Now you have to figure out at which point it is not working. So you can see all the router events in sequence before the next routing happens. And you can figure out, okay, probably it's getting canceled by a router guard, because this is very handy in case you are a new developer in a large code base and you are trying to figure out how things work. So sometimes things break and you are not aware of it and you don't have anyone to help you right now. So just enable this option and you will be able to see where it is breaking, and then you can figure out probably by adding some logs or just going to this. For example, if this is something which coming from a guard, you can just go ahead and see, okay, these are the guards, add a breakpoint and see if it's returning a true or false value. So this is, again, a very good, very handy option for debugging any issues. Let's now go ahead and talk about lazy loading. So I'm sure everyone does the lazy loading in their app, right? How many are not doing lazy loading? Cool, so everyone is doing lazy loading. So for lazy loading, what you do is you have a module, right? That's what we do. So we create a module and then we try to use load children option to go ahead and lazy load that particular route. So for that, what I have done is I have already created an employee module which contains few components. which contains a routing configuration here. And I'll talk about matcher. This is very, very fun part. And I liked, actually, I was writing this demo while the conference was happening because I wanted to show a useful example of this because I have not seen many people using this functionality, and this is really powerful. I'll show you. But let's first talk about lazy loading. So here, we have this employee component or employee module, which needs to be lazy loaded. So what we do is we have our routing configuration, of course, for employee. And what we have done here is we are saying load children and then pass your module. Let's go ahead and see how it works. So in sources, we go ahead and check if there is any code which is loaded for employee. Right now, no. So hope it is not. So there is nothing which is loaded. Let's click on employee, and now you have the code which is loaded for employee. So this is lazy loading, and you must be wondering, okay, Santosh, again, just don't kid. I mean, we paid for Masterclass, not for this. We know this. This is something which is possible. So let's go ahead and go back to our example. So I'm going to show you an example of matcher. You know, the path property is actually optional. How many of you know that? Okay, something new, right? So something new you learned. So my 25 minutes of Masterclass is not a waste. So, but where it can be useful? For example, if you have let's say, dynamic route, right? Where you're saying, okay, let's say employee / probably validation / email ID. But this email ID can match to anything. It can match to a number, it can match to ABC, it can match to XYZ, but your product manager comes and says, hey, this is not what we want this email ID. So the last parameter should be email ID, nothing else. So what you will do? So this is where matcher comes very handy. So here you can see what I have done is, there is matcher, and this next property is component. So in matcher function, you get access to the URL. So whatever URL you enter into your browser, you get access to that URL. Now you can figure out whether you want to actually allow this route to happen, or you can just return null, and it will be handled by the next route. So if it returns null, it means it goes to the next available route, probably 404, and it fails, right? So your scenario, which your product manager or your QA says, okay, no, we want email ID, is something which is handled here. So let's see. So what I've done here is I'm matching the path. This is our email regex for email, of course. So let's see the example. So here I have this details, and actually what I'm doing is I'm just binding an email ID, and that's in your URL. Let's zoom in. I'm not sure if I can zoom in this, but yeah, let's click details. And you can see here, I've added a breakpoint just to show you that, okay, I can add a breakpoint. No, just kidding. I just wanted to show you that it goes into the next block, right? So it says, okay, return. And what I'm returning is I'm returning the URL, of course, the URL which is available in the browser. And I'm passing the email ID because I want to somehow take this email ID and I want to do some operation. So I'm saying, okay, this employee email is the parameters, or it is a query param, which will be passed to the next available route. So let's go. And I'll disable this breakpoint, go here, and john@gmail.com. So this is something which is coming from query parameter. You still have your validation that apart from email ID, it will not take anything. So if you try /1, no, it's not going to work. So very powerful function, but I have not seen people using it. So if you have such use cases, just go ahead and use matcher. Path is optional, right? Let's move on. So now, in around Angular 14, we got something called providers for your route configuration. So how many of you are aware of something provided in any? Provided in any, a few of you are aware of it. So provided in any was available where you can have a unique instance for your service for each lazy loaded route, right? So if you have like first route, which is available for everyone, you have one instance, and each lazy loaded route will have its own instance. But that's something which we don't want, right? Why should we do that? Probably some use cases. But what in case I want access or unique instance for each and every route. Yes, that's possible now. So you have a provider's property available on your route configuration. You can just pass providers. So for example, here I've written a local router service, which creates each unique instance for each component or each route. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'll just uncomment this, and uncomment home. Just need to put this, and okay. And if I go ahead and see my local route service, it's nothing but a simple console.log, right? That's what we developers do. We just add console.logs and we say, okay, things are working. Just kidding. We don't do that. Yeah. Now let's go ahead and refresh this page. And see the console? We have, okay, so many logs. I'll just disable this property so we can see. Okay. Disable host, check. Okay, so we will not get those junk. It's Webpack running again and again. Because it's a, as I said, virtual environment, I'm using code spaces. So let's go ahead and do inspect and console. And now you have here, let's see, for every route configuration. And let's click on home. And on click of home, you will have, where is that? Okay, so many options. So let's disable one thing first. I'll go ahead and disable this enable tracing option. So we see less information here. Let's do this. Yep. And click on home. And you have a new instance should be created if I am using it. Okay. The home component is this. We have activated route, so we have to inject private local route, which is nothing but local router service, right? So if I do this, and let's copy and use this into other places. So if we can go to home, we can go to employee component.ts, and it's already here. So yeah. So let's see, and you can see a new instance of local route services created because we are on home, we are on employee, and another instance of local route services created. So now you can pass providers for each and every route configuration. So it's possible. So you don't have to use any. If I read it correctly, any is going to be deprecated. So I mean, I'm just looking at the Angular team to confirm if it is yes or no. Yes or no? Any is going to be deprecated? No? Okay. Cool. Yeah, but if you have this, you don't need any. Cool. Now next, what else? What other option you have? So with this providers property, you can of course do this, but let me show you a few more options which we have with lazy loading, right? So with lazy loading, you have an option for preload all modules. I'm sure you already know this property, right? So preload all modules, what it does, it will try to preload all the lazy loaded modules in case it has bandwidth, right? If there is no, I mean, if your users are on very fast internet, I think you can enable this, and it will give you some performance benefits as well. But what in case it doesn't fit your requirement? What in case you want to override? Yes, you can do that. You have something similar class called preloading strategy. You can override that class, and you can write your own custom code. So you can decide how you want to preload your modules. So you don't have to just rely on preload all module and default, which is on interaction, right? So by default, when you click on the route, that's the moment when your lazy loaded route gets downloaded. But you can override this. You can override this always. Another one which I wanted to show you is this one. But let's see something else before this. How many of you are aware of guards? Router guards? Okay, some. Let's go ahead and see that. So we used to write guards as services, right? So you write a guard, you write a service, and then you go ahead and load that service by using can activate route and can activate, and then you pass the service. Now there is a new way to do that. So let me show you. So I have written a login service where I'm just checking if my application is secure. I'm not using auth0. Okay, cool. So this is my guard. Something different, right? This is not guard. Okay, so welcome to Angular 15. You have functional guards. So you don't have to create services anymore. You can just write a function, and this inject service is really cool. I'll show you a few more examples of this inject service soon. So here what I'm doing is I'm creating an instance of login service and router service. I'm checking if I'm logged in, if my username and password is secure, which is admin, right? So most confidential password in the world, and then I'm setting a flag called is logged in. So let's go ahead and use this functional guard into my application. So I'll just go ahead and say, okay, just enable this, and I'll come to that later. Can activate. So now let's try to click on home, and I'm redirected to login, right? Because can activate guard is in action right now. So I can do admin, and now I'm logged in. Now I can go ahead and say, okay, let's try to click home. Home works, click on user, and user works. So you have guards, but functional guards. So you can actually reduce your code. You don't have to create a service anymore. So welcome to the future. Okay, so let me show you another thing. What in case you don't have to create a function? This code works. So, yep. So this code works. So you are not even writing a functional guard. You are just writing a line, and your guard works. So this is the future where we are going. So thanks to Angular team for such amazing. So huge round of applause for them. Actually, they are just making our life easier. So please, applause, big applause to them. Right? Because just think about overhead of creating a service just for a single line, and now you can do that single line inside your own guard, right? You don't have to worry about it anymore. So I am sure you are excited now, so let's move on to the other property. How many of you know this on same URL navigation property? How many of you used it? Okay, few hands. So what it does is, it will not reload your application, so don't worry. It says reload, but what it reloads. So when you set this property, all of your guards will be called again. So let's say it is, you have authentication authorization, like almost every app in the world has this functionality. So you want to make sure that if your user is idle and he clicks on some URL, we do check the guards, whether he is still active, he still has the access, his token is not expired. You can set this property on same URL navigation, and you can set to reload. But what if I tell you there is a way to override this as well? Yes, there is a way. So you can also override you can define your own custom strategy, how your application should behave in case you click on the URL. That's possible as well. I'll show you which class is that in my summary, but let's move on because we have limited time. I think, yeah, 1 hour left. No, okay, cool. Let's see another feature. How many of you are aware of standalone component? Okay, so some people were not. I mean, it was in Keynote. Come on, it was in Keynote, standalone component. Okay, so I have created a standalone component, and this is my standalone component. So let's see how it looks like. So it's a component with a standalone property true. This is standalone component, and there is no ng module for this component. So what I'm trying to do right now is, I have created an application where there are Angular modules, there is router module, there is everything. But what in case you want to move towards the future? So yeah, I'll finish up quickly. So what in case you want to move towards the future where you get more and more standalone components in your application? You can do that. You can do that starting Angular 15. You don't have to migrate your application, and you can start writing new components in the better way by using standalone. But what in case, what about routing? Okay, I created a new standalone component. How should I take care of routing? There is no module. Let's go back to our routing configuration. And here, can you, I'm sure you have not noticed this so far. Can you see this? Rather than load children, what we have? Load component. So no ng module required. So in future, once you go back, do ng update, start doing this. Why you need ng module, right? No one needs that. But I love ng module. Great. So this is a small demo, and I'll show you a few more functions, and then I'll finish. Yeah, I know people have to go ahead and go home, so yep. So here, in employee component, there are a few useful services. I'm sure everyone knows about activated route service. How many of you are aware of activated route? Everyone, right? Just say yes. Yeah, cool. And then you have a router service, which you can also get access to all the routing configuration, which happens. Now I'll show you more feature, right? What about a standalone component with no modules at all? So, voice? Yeah, just 2 minutes. Last. Sorry? Yeah, time is over. I know. I still have 30 minutes. Cool. So this is the last thing which I'm going to show, and then I'll finish. What in case you want to create an application where there is no module? If you are starting a new app with Angular 15, what you can do is just delete your ng module, the module which gets created. For route as well, you have all this routing configuration. You can see I've just removed the routing configuration here in this file, and my main.ts file now contains this. So these are new standalone APIs for Angular router. So you have provide router, pass the routes, that's it. You have a standalone component, a standalone application. And thank you so much. And just a quick thing, can you show it? So I have a new Angular course, which is available on FreeCodeCamp. Of course, I wanted to show you. This is 17 hours course, free for community. Just go ahead and give it to your friends, share with your friends, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thank you. Thank you, Santosh.